Yay!
everybody, to the Pandemic Proof Singer Series. I'm Danielle Tucker. I'm a singer, vocal coach, sing with the Mighty Untouchables Band. And next week, I will be your host for the Pandemic Proof Singer Summit. It's running November 16th, 17th, and 18th. It's free to register. You go to pandemicproofsingersummit.com, get your free ticket. There's a lineup of 30 incredible speakers. They're talking to singers about making a path forward for next year, thriving, finding new things to do, new innovative ways to thrive online with our music. It's going to be fun. And so far, there are 780 singers registered to go to the summit. So wow. You're going to be in good company. It's going to be really, really fun. But tonight, more importantly, I have these wonderful, wonderful guests with me. These are singers, songwriters galore. They've all sat down and interviewed with me on past sessions. We were supposed to have Allison Adams Tucker tonight, but she is under the weather. So we all wish her a speedy recovery. But tonight we have Rosy Dawn, Janet Hammer, Josh Taylor, and Tiffy Jane. Welcome, everybody.
Yay.
Yay.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Let's start off with this. Tell me in one word or one phrase how you're feeling today, what you had for breakfast, and one thing that you have to brag about. I'll give you a moment to ponder that.
So one word to describe all three, or one word for each?
You can use a phrase. A phrase is acceptable.
Phrase for all three in one.
Not all three.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I was like, yeah, tree. I don't know. Yeah.
I ate tree.
What we ate, how we're feeling, and
something you have to brag about right now.
Okay.
And it doesn't have to be music related. Janet, let's start with you. You look ready for it.
I do? Okay. Well, the easy one. What I had for breakfast. Okay. I had a persimmon from my neighbor's tree.
Wow.
Yum. Mixed with yogurt. It was very good. And how I'm feeling? Well, I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be here. We are, it's supposed to be one word, right? One phrase.
We'll accept that answer.
Okay. Happy to be here. And I got to do 4 gigs yesterday. So I'm happy about that.
Awesome.
That's huge.
That's wonderful.
Better
You're a gigging machine though. You are like, Janet is the booking goddess of all bookdom.
Love it. Love it.
That's great.
Thank you.
All right. Let's go with Josh.
Coffee. Fine. And Coronacella.
Yay.
Tell us about Coronacella. Let's do that right away.
So Coronacella is an all-day live stream music festival that's happening on Sunday. As a way to support local musicians. There's about right around 20 acts on the bill, all San Diego singer-songwriters. And it's a way to sort of both support local musicians and to sort of, fetishize and promote COVID safety. Nice. So, yeah, that's going to be great.
Where can we catch that?
You can check out Coronacella SD has a Facebook page. As well as a YouTube channel. The live stream is going to be on YouTube, Coronacella SD, and will either be, we're working out some of the technical details. It'll either be also broadcast on Facebook Live, or the YouTube link will be shared to Facebook Live, whichever option we end up exercising.
Great. Awesome. That's so exciting. It's going to be so cool to see so many people in one place.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Distant
and staggered, I might add. Like our
departures.
There's no live audience. The artist's arrival departure schedule we're cycled so that we're not hanging out there. That's a big part of the event too, is to make sure that people it's kind of like a good way of showing, hey, this can be done safely and responsibly. So that's part of it.
Well done. Nice. That's awesome.
Very.
Yeah. So coffee, fine, Coronacella.
That's right.
Rosie, how about you?
Let's see. Coffee, fantastic. And I don't know. It's hard for me to brag. Can't think of anything.
Just do it.
Well, I don't know if I have anything to brag about, but I do feel grateful that I feel like I have really good mental health during a tough time for a lot of people. So I don't know if that's really a bragging thing, but it's something I'm grateful for. So
I think that has bragging rights for sure. That's good. I'm glad to hear that. Tiffy, how about you, lady?
Okay, I had chai latte for breakfast.
mm.
I had a Starbucks gift card, so that was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
How I feel right now is cozy, I think, in lots of different ways. And bragging rights is I have been in a really big writer's block, and I had kind of this flood recently. And so I went down into the studio, a buddy's studio, his home studio, and then we did a collab, and then we put down just a scratch vocal for another original, and then a scratch vocal idea for another original. And I was just like, oh, thank God, finally something. It got stagnant for a bit. So I don't know if it's braggy, but getting back on track.
Great. Good for you. Yay. For me, I also had coffee for breakfast. I am trying to what's the word for it? Intermittent fasting. So it's
I'm with you. Like that's all I had today was coffee
Yeah.
and some bone broth.
So you're going like all the way, just
Oh my God, death.
fasting.
Well, I do it from time to time, but today I'm gonna try to do it through. I stopped eating last night at 8, and I'm gonna try to not eat again tomorrow until after exercise, which will be around 7:30.
Woof. You know what? Every day.
But I've done it before, so like you just do your own thing. Don't like beat yourself up one way or the other. Just
Every day I've been shooting for the warrior fast, which is the 4-hour, I call it the feeding window that you can eat. But by the time like 2 or 3 o'clock rolls around, I'm like, who am I kidding?
Totally. Me too. I can like not eat breakfast, and that's my win. Yeah.
If it weren't for the coffee, there's absolutely no chance that I could.
100%. That's the only reason I can do it is because I can drink my coffee with my creamer.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, you're having creamer with it too?
Yeah, you can do that. I mean, I guess it technically breaks it a little bit, but you can still go into ketosis even with the creamer. So, yeah. As long as there's no sugar. Sugar's the no-no.
Okay. Oh.
So
I'll keep that in mind. All right. So I had coffee and feeling I'm a little dazed and confused right now because I am working around the clock on this summit thing. And then I guess that's my brag too, is that I'm just so excited because it's coming together.
That's awesome.
Beautifully, and I can't wait for everyone to see it. So
cool.
There you have it. Janet, tell us how the heck you get so much gigs in the middle of all of this. What's your secret?
Well, I never say no. That's just the thing. I never say no. I always figure that there's always people always want to hear music. So I figure whatever it is that they want to hear, I'll do it. Mm-hmm. So I'm singing for a lot of retirement homes right now, which seems to be they're really wanting music, and it's great because it's the middle of the day, and put on a costume. Andrew's sisters. I was just telling Danielle, I just had a wig on today, so that's why my hair looks like a wreck right now. But doing some Andrew sisters. We do the Beach Girls. Danielle has been part of my group on that, and that's a lot of fun doing Beach Boys stuff. And I don't know, it's you just find what people want to hear and do it.
Nice. Well, so would you say that you're mostly getting calls from just your regular clients and they kind of just want to do a little something, or are you kind of proactively going after them and kind of giving them an option that they don't know they want yet?
Both. both.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been at this a long time when I have my caroling company and of course my bands and, and all, I know all the agents pretty much. And, I've just been around for a while. So, a lot of repeat. And then I do a lot of cold calling too, because, everybody is, whenever there's a new manager or a new activity director, a new agent or whatever, it's like starting all over all the time. So it's like, doesn't matter that you've been in the business for 30 years. It's like you're starting all over with that person. So it's always, cold calling and that kind of thing too. So it's a mix. Yeah.
Go get her.
Good. You're a machine. I love it. All right. Now we're going to get a little more serious. Tell us what is the most essential app on your phone right now? What app do you go to constantly and why? I'll start because I had a head start on all of this. For me right now, it is my Spotify app. I have it like constantly on. My phone battery drains like every hour, but I just have to have music going 24/7 right now, other
Nice.
than when I'm sleeping. So, yes. Tiffy, what's yours?
Yeah, I was gonna say Apple Music is definitely always on the dock. But I think in a less artistic and very truthful sense is Instagram.
Oh,
Instagram is
yeah.
like somebody's going live all of the time. Oh, I have a lot of my musician, like people that I don't even know that I just admire, like a new musician that I just found, new singer-songwriter I just found, he goes live a lot. And so I watch a lot of those. I think it's like kind of a way to feel connected to somebody that you don't even really know. And then like I'm just always on YouTube as well. So that's open. Those three. I'm just like I mean YouTube's a problem. It's a problem. It's a problem. It's a total problem. Whether it's music or day in the life stuff, it's constant. I don't watch TV. I don't watch almost anything. I just watch all YouTube. So yeah, I would have to say it's three of them. I'm on my phone too much for sure.
Okay.
Maybe that's writer's block. Hello.
Yeah. So who's the singer-songwriter you found that you like?
Okay, so a different vibe for me for sure, but his name is Briston Maroney. Does anyone know him? Briston Maroney. There's a song called Rose. Try to get through that and not feel something. It's totally different vibe for me because I'm way on the like R&B soul train, but this guy is like kind of I don't even know what he would describe himself. Maybe like indie bluegrass roots kind of a vibe. And there's this song called Rose of his and another song called June that he's 21 years old. He has already gone through rehab. He's self-produced 2 albums and now is double represented, one of his representations being Atlantic Records. He's remarkable. He's
Say
remarkable.
his name again?
Briston Maroney.
Briston Maroney.
I'll send you a link to one of his songs or something.
Get that.
It's a very different vibe than I usually listen to, but I find it totally captivating.
How did you discover him? Just
My husband said that on his Apple Music, it came up as a suggested, and he listens to metal and completely different things than I do, but he does have a love for like the indie side of things, the Copelands, the Rufus Wainwright. He loves that side too. So it must have been from that, probably not one of the metal options.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Rosie, how about you? What's your essential app?
My podcast app. I listen to a lot of podcasts.
Yeah.
So, but then I get into a mood where all of a sudden I'm like, I just want to hear music. So then it's Spotify for sure. But I do spend a lot of time listening to podcasts.
Yeah. What's your favorite podcast?
The Minimalists. And I was super bummed because I actually had tickets to go see them in I think April. Then it got postponed to December, and now it's just indefinitely.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really like them. That's been my favorite. And then from there's like a million podcasts. I have all of these ones saved that I'm gonna listen to someday, and I'm trying to get through them.
I love
Mhm.
it.
Awesome. Okay. Josh, how about you?
My answer is a bit of a cheat because I
Mm.
do cycle. Like I'll use one app a lot for like 2 weeks and then
Mhm.
another one. So a couple more have been named. I too am constantly on YouTube
I
and
love
Instagram for the same reasons, to consume other artists primarily. And YouTube, just a giant nerd for astrophysics and like quantum mechanics. So I'm always
love
watching like videos on that stuff.
love.
In fact, my morning routine is like I get up, I make coffee, I put on astrophysics, and I practice scales. Like that's
That's
my
dope.
that's my
That's a
dorky.
good life.
Yeah, it's great. So Instagram and YouTube are pretty much constantly in rotation. If I have a new item of content or I'm engaging with patrons, the Patreon app is quite often open. Or if I had a newsletter, I'm on MailChimp, like seeing how it's doing. So that, those little things that come up from time to time, depending on where you're at in your workflow. But then also Castbox, that's my podcast app as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell us about astrophysics and what
A
what
few words.
YouTube channel are you watching? And if my face looks weird, if this is like, I don't mean it to be a yucky face. This is my inquisitive face.
Well, two of my favorites are the PBS Spacetime channel. That's a really good one. And it has been for a number of years. So you can kind of it certainly helps if you have a little bit of background, but you don't have to have any. It's like it's not pop sci. I mean, it's dense, but it's watchable. And if you rewind a lot and go back through all the series, it's a really cool way of exploring um, the universe. And so if you're ever were interested in like Cosmos or any of those, well-known ones, PBS Spacetime is really great. And then one that's a little bit more dense and mathy is the channel of Sean Carroll, who's a really that may be a name you might recognize. He's like a internationally renowned theoretical astrophysicist, and so he gets into some of the calculus and stuff. So if you, it's a little, but actually slows down because the PBS Spacetime ones are so punchy that sometimes they kind of move fast. They have that YouTube rhythm,
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's really engaging but super fast, and you have to pause a lot. But Sean Carroll's are a bit more like a lecture, like a college lecture. So it's a little bit easier to follow and watch. But those two are my favorites. Yeah.
Hmm.
Awesome.
That's really cool. You know what I was thinking about as you were describing that is how mind blowing it is when you kind of find out these areas of interest of people, that and it's not something you'd normally think about. And then you realize just how many different things there are out there that people are up to doing, making videos on, just, hobbies, everything. I just kind of feel like I live in this little bubble sometimes. And, everybody's familiar with things that or they're all familiar and interested in the same things I am, but it's just not so. It's just not so. There's a big world out there. All right, Janet, what is your essential app?
Oh, well, it's going to sound boring, but I've been glued to the news.
Really?
Well, the politics, just like I try really hard to like turn it off for a while, but I always want to be knowing what's going on next, what's going to happen next. So yeah, that's one thing. But as far as apps that are my favorite apps, if we're talking about an app on my phone, I because I'm also teaching, and so I use the Amazing Slow Downer. Does anybody know
Oh
about that one?
yeah.
It's
Mm-hmm.
I think it's kind of an old one, but I use this all of the time. It's like the best tool for like learning music, for finding the keys, for using it as backing tracks for students,
Mm-hmm.
for you know things like that. Learning looping songs, that you want to learn over and over as little sections or whatever that you need to slow down and work it out, all the notes. So it's just a great app. It's, it's really useful and I use it for my students. And
Mm-hmm.
that's probably my favorite app,
Cool.
work
Awesome.
related.
Well, the next question, and I think your answers kind of lead into this a little bit, is I've kind of been asking everybody this for, I don't know if you all have this. habit in your life, but I'm used to having to learn music all the time. So I don't really get to just listen for fun. So I feel like it had been forever um, that I could like find something new, that I hadn't heard before. And it's just usually the practice stuff. But since all of this went down, I shifted from podcasts because I was all about the podcast life all the time. Got on my Spotify app and have like discovered all of these new artists who aren't new. They've been around forever, but are so new to me that I'm just like loving. And it kind of brings back an experience of music for me that I love. So I wanted to know during all of this, is there any new artists? Well, Tiffy already answered this, but you can throw in some more if you want.
Okay.
Any new artists that you have been listening to, or any that you've rediscovered lately? Anyone?
Get my Apple Music.
Yes, lots. I can totally relate to that too, because I used to, yeah, you're always learning all these songs and then you're just sick of listening to music. But I was listening to something I liked, and then you know how Spotify goes off and starts like finding songs based on what they think you like. And so all these songs started coming up and I would press like. So I have a whole playlist of liked songs and I love those. So, but I don't have any here. Let me hear somebody else talk and I'll get back to you.
I can go next.
Good,
So
go for it.
Briston Maroney for sure. I was listening to a favorite of mine, a favorite singer, Yeba. I don't know if you guys know Yeba.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, she's next level.
Amazing.
And I found a gal named Snow Allegra from her, and I was supposed to see her in live too until Snow Allegra's unreal. And then I was listening once again I was listening to Yeba watching one of her music videos, and I'm gonna just absolutely butcher this guy's last name because I have no idea, but it's Rai, Rai, and then his last name I think is Thistle Thwati, Thistle, and then Thwayte, and he's an all over the board musician. So he plays piano, he does loops, he does percussion, he's a wicked singer, an amazing songwriter. So I would say primarily dove deeper into Snow Allegra, deeper into Yeba, and found Rye, and then Briston Maroney. And and a gal named Eloise, who is just maybe the most precious thing on planet Earth, with just like this soulful, fantastic voice, who's absolutely from the UK, on the list of the wicked, amazing, soulful voices from there. So her for sure. And then I just have fell in love with Rufus Wainwright again. I listened to him all the time. I used to all the time. But I think I got into a real soul place, and then I just like have just had him on repeat a lot too. So Rye, Eloise, Snow Allegra, Yeba, Rufus, Briston Maroney. There's kind of the six of them are just on rotation.
That makes me think I'm gonna search Yeba tomorrow to see what playlists come up.
Right. If you just let things start to go, you're like, who the heck is this?
Yeah.
I know. So many.
Very nice.
All right, I found mine.
Okay.
This is a band called Sister Sparrow, but it's a female lead, and I love her voice. I love their songs. And then another one is Doyle Bramhill, the second.
He's awesome.
That. Okay, yeah, super cool. And then and this is not this is a well-known band, but the Marcus King band just got more into, dove deeper, like Tiffy said. And then there's a girl named Lady Rye, and she just has a super cool voice. I really like her tone. So that's just a few that kind of came up on my list.
How do you spell Rye for her? RYE or RAI?
Let's see, where'd it go? Where'd you go, girl? Oh, there it is. WRAY.
Oh, that was not anywhere near. Great.
Yeah, she's cool. I think you would dig her, Tiffy, actually.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
She's got a song called Guilty.
Perfect.
Check it out. Queen Alone. So yeah, that's just some of them. And
Love
that's all like a combination of like R&B / country / I don't know, a little bit of everything. So
Josh, how about you?
I'm a big fan in the last couple of years of an artist named Joey Landreth and a band he has with his
heard of that.
brothers Landreth. And I've been diving a lot deeper into this. I kind of get obsessive sometimes about a cluster of records at once, and I'll fall in love with them, and then I'll listen deeper, and then we all do this thing where you try to cop style, and you kind of what makes this tick, what makes this artist or this guitar player or this tone work, or what's this vocal approach. So and then I like the part where you kind of start to internalize that stuff, and then you set it aside and you come back around as just like the listener again. Like that, I love that repeated cycle. I'll wear a record. If I had vinyl, it would be in like tatters,
Yeah.
I wear records out. I swear if you could make Spotify skip, I would have done it by now. But Joey Landreth, Brothers Landreth, Ariel Posen is another artist in that same vein. It's like roots rock. Really delicate songwriting. Ariel Posen toured with the Brothers Landreth for a while, so that's kind of how I got onto him. But they're in the same vein, kind of like soul meets roots rock. And then Isaiah Sharkey is like, I've been listening to his records a lot lately. He's an incredible neo soul songwriter, guitar player, jazz chops. Like he's just awesome. And then another artist named Carrie Too Smooth Marshall, who's another sort of like neo soul guitar player. They're both Isaiah and Carrie Too Smooth are both kind of known as sidemen in the big, capital I industry world. But their own work is a little bit lesser known, and it's really great.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah.
Cool. Janet, how about you?
Well, yeah, like you were saying, you spend a lot of time always listening to music to learn it for whatever reason. And so I spend a lot of time looking for music that will fit my church gig.
Oh yeah.
I'm a music director at the Unity Center, so it's that's an ongoing every 7 days a new show basically. So always looking for music with a positive message. So it's my listening, as far as listening for enjoyment, I used to listen to music a lot, and um, now it seems like I when I hear music, I'm always listening, whether it works well for the church gig or if it's something I would be singing on a gig, or so I actually listen to a lot of silence at home.
Yeah.
A lot of silence, but I've been really enjoying just going back and listening to a lot of old jazz, like the old standards, and you know, and singers like Cassandra Wilson and people like that. Kind of older singers that just have a lot of soul. And India Irie, kind of stumbled on her again.
Yeah, I love her.
She's amazing. Um,
Yeah.
One of my students turned me on to a great singer, Ben Folds.
Yeah.
Anybody know? Yeah.
Yeah.
Great
He's a
stuff.
cool
Really,
person.
yeah, it's really cool. It does. I love a singer who can do all kinds of different things.
Mhm.
Sings jazz, sings pop, sings harmony. I mean, it's really talented. So I love singers like that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, my answer's played out because I've said it a half dozen times already, but I discovered Lake Street Dive, which
Oh yeah.
I believe I had never heard it before. I love her voice so much. And so I've been listening to them, to Maggie Rogers, Brandy Carlisle,
Oh yeah.
uh, Leon Bridges.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's making me super happy right now.
What was the second one you said? Maggie who?
Maggie Rogers.
Rogers.
Oh
Hmm.
yeah, you'll like her.
Do y'all peep the Scary Pockets videos whenever they drop? Those are
Oh,
good.
Those are good. Yeah.
yes, definitely. Do you that made me think of, I forgot the question I was going to ask, but I was thinking Dirty Loops.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I recently saw something. I thought it was new, but didn't they kind of split apart?
No, they did come back with something recent. You're right. You're exactly right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So crazy, crazy good musicians.
Yeah.
All right.
Literally.
Good answers, everybody. Good answers. Okay. What was your first concert?
Remember?
Concert attended or first concert performed?
First attended.
Attended.
You watching, you the observer.
Ah.
I think it was a mix. It was like a 93.3 this on the block kind of thing, and there was a lot of different people.
Yeah.
I think the first one I remember just being dedicated was probably NSYNC.
Nice.
Or no, it's interesting because I'm not a country gal, but no, I'm so wrong. Ma, you're probably watching this. I'm so sorry. You
Yes.
took Reba McEntire. That's who I saw.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
Awesome.
I think my
Concert.
first might have been so random. It was just they came to play the school. I went to the Naval Academy and they had free concerts for like a couple times a semester. And I think it was a Goo Goo Dolls concert opened by Lisa Loeb, which was
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
and it was like Lisa had already had, her couple of really big hits, but she had stayed, she kept working and was still like so sharp and sounded so great. I actually enjoyed her more than Goo Goo Dolls.
All right.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So you made it all the way to college age before you'd seen a concert?
Yeah, I actually didn't grow up going to concerts. And to be honest with you, I haven't been to many major like, I've been to a lot of local shows, but very few like major ticketed concerts in my life.
Hmm.
Probably fewer than 20. Yeah.
So I remember. Oh
No, go ahead.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
keep going.
Okay. So I can't remember if this was exactly my first one, but I still like when I think about this, I was so young. I think I was like 14. And I can't believe my parents actually let me go to this concert because we were traveling and we were in St. Louis and we were staying there for a week for some kind of festival for we had flower shops at the time and we were involved in a festival there. But anyway, um, they let me go to this concert all by myself in um, where did I just say? St. Louis. And it was Fleetwood Mac and Jefferson Starship.
Wow.
This was like a long time ago. Yeah, it was like and it was crazy.
You were
walked in-
14?
I was 14, all by myself, and I
Wow.
walked down the street like 2 blocks to this huge stadium, and like the smell of pot and it was just like so loud, and I was like, wow.
Janet, it's like,
Awesome.
I have found my people.
Yeah.
I loved it. It was so much fun. I'm like, yeah, that's it.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
So cool. I think everybody go? Yeah. My mom took me to a lot of music stuff, so I have a lot of memories of like running around at music festivals. But the things I have a specific memory of, and I don't know if it's the first concert, but when I was little, they used to have concerts out at the Wild Animal Park before I guess they realized that the animals didn't like the loud drums and all that. So one that I specifically remember was Judy Collins, and the other one was Shauna Na, and those were 2 separate concerts. And I was definitely under 10, but probably younger. And then, yeah, I've got some from when I was still quite a bit younger, but those are like the 2 that I can remember from the earliest point of my life specifically.
Nice.
So,
My
yeah.
first was Chicago.
Ooh,
And,
cool.
followed up very shortly after that with Michael Bolton.
Nice.
Yes.
Yes.
And I actually still have a t-shirt from the Michael Bolton concert.
That's
That
amazing.
is awesome. Well, so since you brought
I
that
need
up,
to start wearing it again.
so, since you brought that, I have to share that my father actually grew up with Michael Bolton.
Really?
Yeah, and they all had a blues band together, and they were all gonna make it big, and then they were all really angry with him because he sold out.
Oh,
But he's the only one that had a successful career, so I don't think he really cares. And I met him. I actually met him.
nice.
And it was funny because they did everybody was singing. It was like a birthday party where everybody was getting up, and the band of the birthday boy, he had basically every band he'd been in with since elementary school all the way up to like his 50th. So at one point, Michael Bolton's brother and my father started singing Bring It On Home, that old blues song, which I'm like, man, they're such great singers. Then Michael Bolton gets up with them, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is like, I never appreciated this guy. This guy really has a killer voice, but you know, I always thought he was kind of cheesy. So till I saw that, and I was like, yeah, he's a good singer.
Nice.
So
You
had
know,
to
I
share that.
think Durrell, I think it's Michael Bolton. I think Durrell is like a pretty spot. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
There was one gig we were on, and I don't know what song it was that we had a request from the bride and groom, and we were like, it was one of those. Oh, okay, we're gonna do this for your first
A Michael
gig,
Bolton song?
and it's gonna be great. I think it's Michael Bolton. He'll know just from if you just say like that one gig you and Tiffy are on with that like kind of cringe first dance song.
But like,
And he just nails it. I think it's Michael Bolton.
Is
But I'm
it Michael
scared that
Bolton's
it's not
version
Michael.
of When a Man Loves a Woman?
yeah, that's what I was
Oh my
thinking.
gosh, that's great. That's great.
I wonder
Some
if that's
duet.
it.
I got to remember what it was.
Darrell is known for doing a really tight Michael Bolton too. Or not Michael Bolton, Michael McDonald.
Oh, God.
shoot,
Oh,
maybe
that's
that's who I'm
hilarious.
thinking of. Maybe that's who I'm thinking of.
Okay.
I don't know.
Either way, it's good when we got
Great. Yeah, whatever it is,
Yeah.
just fantastic impression of whoever Michael it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Whichever Michael.
That's great. Okay. My next question is, and this, maybe we can carry this last question into it. I was talking with Diamante Centrone the other day, and we were talking about those maybe early childhood experiences, or it could be, you know, when you got a little bit older, where like music hit you and you like realized music for the first time. I asked her this question because I'm driving along in the car. My girls and I, we're always rocking out to something. We all like to listen to it really loud, and I turn the radio down, and my daughter's like, you know what, Mom? Whenever I hear a song, I always imagine a movie. Like I'm like playing a movie in my mind. And I just thought that was so cool that she was able to, you know, really like articulate that to me and share that. But it made me think of my childhood too. I remember being a little girl, and whenever I would hear, you know, music that like really resonated with me, I would visualize myself singing and performing like on a stage when I probably had never even seen anything like that, you know? And I think that, I don't know, I think that that was probably like the first conception of music in my mind. But I'm curious to know if you can recall like how that impacted you when you were younger. Was it a concert? Because, you know, we all have that concert experience as performers. When you're at a concert, you're kind of like, am I enjoying this, or am I wishing that I was up there right now? You know, I can't tell. I'm on the fence.
Hmm.
I think it's difficult because I was surrounded by it my whole life. And it sounds like you too, Rosie girl, like you were around it so much that
Yeah.
like I mean a very different genre than I do. My mom's in musical theater and
Right.
my grandma does, you know, church and classical. So different. But I did that kind of music with her, and we toured and stuff for so long, on and off, and did shows on and off, like, from like 4 years old, that I think what I'll try to do is, I remember my grandma and I would play Who Could Guess the Artist and the song the quickest on the radio in the oldies station. So I heard a lot of um, jazz standards, the Ellas, the Lenas, all of that. And so that hit me in a different way, I think. I think I always kind of thought of musical theater as something that I did with the honor of watching and learning from my mom and altering my voice to make it sound a certain way. But when Stormy Weather came on, it hit a little different than Guys and Dolls for me. Um, so I don't know exactly how to answer that, because I had the privilege of it being around all the time and definitely within hand's reach, but I didn't find, I think, my own voice for a very, very long time. And I think probably when I went to college for music, kind of my eyes, maybe that's what it is. My eyes opened to a lot of different styles that I hadn't been exposed to, and how cool to experience different people's expression of it. But I totally did that thing as a little girl. Like, the song that was playing was, I was in this movie. I totally get your kid. I totally get her. And like,
Right.
this is what had just happened right before, and I was on my way to this. Like, I totally get it. I totally get it. It's so transformative that way. So yeah, and I think I get overwhelmed with how remarkable people are when I get to see them live, and how remarkable their ear is, or how they came up with that, or how that musician went to that change or heard that extension. And I think I feel in awe of artists to this day all the time. I think, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not really, I didn't really answer well.
No, it's a good answer.
Oh my God, sorry.
Good answer. Who wants to jump in next?
Mine's kind of a similar background too. My mom was a singer. I mean, she's she still is. She's 96 and she's still singing. But yeah. So when people ask me how long have I been singing, I always say from my mom's womb, because
Right.
I just remember just growing up in a household full of music always. And she was also a musical director and things like that, and jazz, lots of jazz. I mean, the Ellas and the Sarah Vaughns and all of that, and learning music with her. But I do remember when I was like 5 years old, I had my best friends were twins, and their mom always dressed them exactly the same. So I thought, they're already in costume being backup singers. So they were my backup singers. And we would do these shows for the neighborhood. And this is where I get this business aspect of booking gigs, because I would go door to door in my neighborhood and sell tickets to our show.
That's hilarious.
I decorated up our garage and put little tablecloths with little parsley on the plates.
Oh my gosh, so cute.
And then we'd be in costume, the girls were already dressed alike, right? And then I'd put on some kind of whatever, and we would lip sync to the Supremes and all the.
That's amazing.
And yeah, it was just, that was it. I was like, that's what I'm going to do. And also I remember that there was another story right around that same time, that my family took me to Knott's Berry Farm, and the guy he had a little monkey on his shoulder and a little organ grinder. You remember seeing pictures like that, right? And he was playing "You Are My Sunshine," and apparently, I don't remember this, but my mom tells me the story, that I jumped up on stage and I told him that I know this song and that I had to sing it with the monkey.
Yes.
I was a super shy little girl, but I could sing for anybody. That was never a problem. But
Wow.
anything else, I was like, oh God, I'm scared,
Right.
But yeah, music was a place where I kind of just could be, free.
Great story, Janet.
It's cool.
Rosie, how about you?
Well, yeah, I grew up with a lot of music. My mom played tons of music in the house, like Janet and Tiffy, like a lot of Ella and Bessie Smith. And then she was also into Jackson Brown and Dan
Nice.
Fogelberg, all this folk music too. Um, which I think I took that for granted because now I hear, a lot of people don't just play music in their house. Like we play music instead of the TV running, which we watch TV too, but music is what's on. That's the background noise. And I know a lot of kids don't necessarily get that. So I think we were all lucky that we grew up in those kinds of households because it definitely was like, Linda Ronstadt too. She did that whole like jazz album. So that was in the back of my mind. But I was homeschooled. And so my mom used to take me to her college classes with her. And I'd always have to go to like her vocal fundamental classes. And then they'd like have me get up and sing in front of everybody, which was, I guess, good because I was too young to really realize what was happening and just get up there and get good energy from people. And so then, so I was just kind of singing and then her and I did like a little duo thing together at restaurants singing.
Nice.
So yeah, that kind of just happened. And then when I went to college, I guess I was just kind of like, oh, I'm just going to do music because I don't know what else I'm like, this is what I do. But I also really loved watching Kids Incorporated and would also rock out with them.
Yes.
And so so that was where, the little girl rocking out with the microphone was, happening in the morning. So yeah, I don't know. So that's
I
kind of
loved Kids Incorporated.
me too. And that Martika was on that, who was in Annie. Remember that? And Annie was like, a big musical at that time where the first girl that was really belting out, and
Yeah.
at least I think so. I think that like she was kind of the first belting musical theater of that time so yeah, that was a big influence too. It was like Annie, Kids Incorporated. And
do you remember a show called Rags to Riches?
Yeah, that's vaguely familiar sounding. Yeah,
it was another one where all like singing, and it wasn't like a skit show. It was more like a kind of I guess
like a sitcom kind of.
Yeah, kind of like that. But
I don't know Kids Incorporated. What's that?
Oh, and Fergie was on that as a little girl. She was what was her name? Something Ferguson, Stacey Ferguson.
Yeah, that's right. Oh my God.
Little Stacey Ferguson, and she sang Time After Time, and it was, yeah, like
nice.
So Kids Incorporated was like the, I guess, Mickey Mouse Club wannabe sort of, but they had like glittery costumes and bad skits, and it was awesome. Yeah, it was great. It was great for like a 10-year-old or however old I was. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Mine, I think I saw you mouth, Josh. How about you?
Oh, sorry.
No, I think that's I have a couple of distinct memories that I feel like I came online musically, like those conscious, out of the ether of childhood into like, I'm alive, kind of thing. And one of them, I'm probably was just out of toddlerhood. I remember my mom playing guitar and singing Please Come to Boston. I just remember sitting on her bed somewhere, and that's probably my earliest memory of music. My mom was a singer. She didn't end up making a career of it, but she was classically trained as a kid and was involved in musical theater and that kind of stuff into her teenage years. So I kind of remember that, and like everyone has mentioned before, yeah, music was on probably more than TV. I remember growing up, like just that's what was happening while you were on the weekend at home doing things or whatever. And I really specifically remember like it was this thing that I had with my mom. I wasn't around I wasn't around artsy kids. I didn't do musical theater, or I did band for a couple of years, sort of like in middle school. But other than that, I wasn't around arts or music. I was kind of a nerdy kid, and I was in sports. And so it was kind of like my little like secret thing I had with my mom. And I remember being 8 or 9, maybe younger even. And there's two albums that three I really remember. One was Tracy Chapman, the first
Oh yeah.
album. I remember like laying on the floor, like trying to get my ear like right up to the like speaker and
Yeah.
just hear it. And another one, Kenny Loggins had a record called Leap of Faith that was like like moved. I remember, I still listen to that record sometimes. And then Richard Marx,
Ah,
I think probably the eponymous one. It just, those three records, just I remember like dancing around like being ridiculous with my mom, like running around the house and making
Love
up
it.
silly dances and singing, like belting those out. And that's kind of like the earliest. From there, it was like, you go to school and your friends are all talking, but my head was all, I never had any idea that it was a career option. It never occurred to me. Um, so, and that's not, I mean, I didn't start doing music professionally until I was like 28. So it never occurred to me growing up that that was something you could go be. But it was always this thing I had, like it was like my little, secret society with the two members in it. So that's
Love
what
it.
yeah.
You know what? While you were talking, I had another memory come to mind that where you said you kind of come to life or out of the ether of childdom. My dad, I remember one night we were, I don't know, going out somewhere as a family, and he had just gotten the Van Halen 1984 album,
Nice.
nice.
and he like, and I'm super young at this point, so totally inappropriate to like be playing 1984 for a kid, but he played it so loud in the car, and I feel like it was the first time that I was like exhilarated by music. I could just like remember the double like kick drum and everything, and yeah, it's just so weird how you have those little experiences, with music that you never forget. And
And so cool that you said he played it so loud. And then earlier today, you were like, the girls and I rock out. We like to listen to music really loud.
yeah,
You both
totally.
do. Now you do that because he probably did that with you. That's so
Yeah.
rad.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. And I withheld this information, but when my daughter told me about the movie thing, how she visualizes a movie, this is embarrassing. Okay.
No, I'm so here for it.
When I would imagine this, I used to imagine myself ice skating too.
Oh my God, that is everything. You are grace. You are beauty. Oh my God, yes.
I don't know why.
I
don't
like
ice
I set
skate
the
at
high
all.
note, twirls.
You're right.
Well, I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
there's not a singing ice skater, so maybe that could be like it's
Listen.
COVID friendly.
Hey, you
Sort
know
of,
what?
You've just done something.
At 42, start my ice skating career.
Well, I
God.
mean, why not? There's no rules.
There are
100%.
no rules.
That's true. Okay.
Taking
Oh
them
my
up
gosh.
as we go.
All right.
Yep.
I'm going to ask one last question, and you can be as simple or as deep as you want with this, but what do you want people to remember you for? And I'll go first. Obviously, it's a singing ice skater. So
I love that so much.
Oh my
I'm
God.
halfway there.
Skater. Oh, that's everything.
You may have a moment to think about it.
Man, I don't know.
So if we're all ever at a show together, and you look over at me enjoying the music,
You're
I'm
ice
seeing
skating
the
in your head.
leotard. I'm seeing the
If I give it like-
rhinestones. Yes.
On her head.
Yeah. Hairspray for days. Oh my God, that's so good. Oh.
That is really good.
Janet, what do you want to be remembered for?
I just want to be remembered for the person that makes people smile.
Love it.
That's it.
You are, yeah.
Yeah.
Rosie, how about you, Rosie?
Oh goodness. Somebody that's easy to be around and deal with.
I
Am
think
I done?
did you say me?
Yes, I'm
Oh.
sorry. I'm not
Hey,
talking
Yeah,
loud
I
enough,
can't. I
am I?
couldn't hear you either. No.
No, no worries. I think it's like when someone starts to say something at the same time, it mutes out.
Okay.
Okay, I feel like this is very difficult. But I will do my best. I think somebody who's authentic, um, somebody who is sage, um, a place of safety for any walk of life. That they can have a couch to sleep on or a meal, regardless of sexual preference, race, choices they have made. I'd like to, I think in the music world, I'd love to be known or remembered more for the music I created originally, like from a rather than an adaptation or a cover. I'd love for something to be remembered off of something I've created, even if it's with somebody else. And yeah, I think a solid soul, that would be kind of my last one. Joy, I don't know. There's so many things now. I'm
You're
thinking,
all those things.
Yeah, you're
all those things.
oh goodness,
Lee.
thank you. That's very kind.
All right, Josh, how about you?
I mean, it would be cool if people felt heard and understood in
Mm,
that way. If I was able to have some impact on someone's feeling heard or understood, whether it's through a song lyric, they're like, I feel understood because of something you wrote resonated with them, or just interacting with them in their life, some small thing maybe that you say offhandedly that you have no idea, and someone feels better understood or less alone because of that'd be pretty cool. Yeah.
that was awesome.
Mine's similar to that, other than singing ice skating. I I think I'm a lot like that. I want to be remembered as someone who you felt you could tell anything to, and
Mm,
you'd be safe telling anything to.
yeah.
Oh, you guys are beautiful. Thank you so much for
So are
doing
you.
this.
Thank
It's so
you.
good to see you all again. And one more plug for Coronacella. You got to
Yeah.
check that out on Sunday. So you can catch it at Coronacella SD on Facebook or YouTube. They'll be streaming live. They'll be taking tips, donations. This is to help support musicians in our local area. So everybody that goes and watches, make sure you're super generous with your donations. It's going to be well deserved. This is a very fine bunch of musicians that you're going to get to witness.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I love you all. Thank you very much
Love
for
you.
coming. So good to see you.
So good
You
to see
too.
Have a great night, everyone.
you too.
Good night.
Bye.